Well, good morning. Welcome to practice. So go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seat. You'd be sitting similar to how I am in a cross legged seat. You might be sitting in a different way, but take a few moments to settle into the spot that you're in. And then as you close your eyes, begin to check in with your body, noticing how you feel. If there are any parts of the body that are talking to you, any injuries that you're rehabbing, anything that might need body. And then take the palms together in front of the heart. As we inhale, reach up toward the ceiling. As we exhale, reach the hands out and down, spread the fingers wide apart, releasing the hands all the way to the floor. Turn the palms up. Inhale, reach out and up. And then exhale, hands to the heart. We'll do this a few more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, out and down. Spread the fingers. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, one more. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Now, as you interlace your fingers, press your palms forward and up. Start to reach up through one hand and up through the other side, left and right. Gently pulling down on the fingers a little bit as you stretch into each palm, down each arm, each side of the body. All right, let the hands separate. Take them behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Open up across the chest. Gently turn the head side to side. All right, then reach the chin up toward the ceiling and down toward the chest. Again, lifting up and dropping down. One more lift and drop. All right, bring the head up to center, release the hands, walk the right hand out, leaning into it. Take the left hand to the left shoulder and start to rotate. A couple times in one direction. And a couple times the opposite way. Then sweep your left arm up alongside your head. Reaching with the left hand, squeeze and release the fingers, as well as rotate through the wrist. A couple times each way. All right, and then inhale, lift up. Exhale, release the left hand down to the floor. Right hand comes to the right shoulder and start to rotate. A couple times in one direction. And a couple times the opposite way. All right, then sweep the right arm up alongside the head. Reaching with your right hand, squeeze and release the fingers, as well as rotate through your wrist. Again, a couple of times each way. All right, and then inhale, lift up. And exhale, release your right hand down. All right, so we'll shift onto hands and knees. As you come to hands and knees, just start with your hands underneath your shoulders. And we'll take the knees underneath the hips. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift your head and tail. As you exhale, tuck the tail, round the back, chin toward the chest. All right, one more, breathing in and breathing out. So as you bring your torso to neutral, take your knees close together and then lift your left knee up and out to the side and start to rotate through your hip. So left knee draws a big circle in space. Try to keep your arms straight here and localize the movement to your left leg and hip. So try not to move a whole lot through the torso. And then change direction, same leg. All right, the next time you inhale, reach that left foot back. Exhale, pull the left knee in toward the chest and round the back. Again, inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee into the chest. One more, breathing in. And breathing out. As you take your left leg back this time, cross it over the right leg, drop the toes. Spin the fingers out as you curve your spine to the right, peeking back at your left foot. Sensing all the way up the left side of the body. All right, torso comes back to neutral. Pick your left leg up, bring it all the way out to the left side, directly out from your hip. Walk your hands in, lifting up. All right, take the left hand to rest on the left leg, and then take your right arm up alongside your head. Side bending to the left. Very slightly tuck the tailbone under as the low belly engages, drawing slightly up toward the navel. All right, another full breath. So with your next inhale, lift up. And exhale, release that right hand down. All right, step your left foot forward. I'm going to come into a long lunge. So it might be a couple of steps forward depending on comfort, flexibility. All right, scoot that right knee back a little bit so that as your hips are dropping down and forward, you start to feel a bit of a stretch in the front of your right hip and thigh, but also probably the back of your left leg as well. All right, and then take left hand to left thigh and gently twist toward your left leg. All right, take 3 rounds of breath. All right, after your third breath, release back to hands and knees. And then sit back towards your feet as you come into child's pose. So big toes are together, take the knees apart for most of us. Some of us will be comfortable with knees together, but for many of us, knees apart feels a little better. And then as you're folding forward, your head is releasing toward the floor, toward a block or similar, or maybe even just your hands stacked, one on top of the other. We'll take 3 rounds of breath here, feeling the back expand as you breathe in. And let the whole body rest into the floor as you breathe out. And 2 more cycles of breath. And 1 more breath. All right, rise back up onto hands and knees. Knees come back together. This time, right knee lifts up and out to the side. Start to rotate through the hip. Again, try to localize the movement into that right leg and hip. Try to keep arms straight and torso relatively still. All right, change direction, same leg. All right, with your next inhale, reach your right foot back. Exhale, right knee into the chest, round the back. Twice more, inhale back. Exhale, knee into the chest. One more like that, breathing in. And breathing out. So as you take your right leg back this time, cross it over the left leg, drop the toes, spin your fingers out, curve the torso to the left, peeking back at the right foot, sensing all the way up the right side of the body. All right, as you bring your torso back to neutral, pick that right leg up, swing it all the way out to the right side. So it's directly out from your hip. Walk your hands in, lifting up. We'll take that right hand to rest on the right leg. Take the left arm up alongside the head. Side bending to the right. All right, as you next inhale, lift up. As you exhale, release your left arm, and then we'll step the right foot forward into a long lunge. So again, you might take one big step, you might take a couple of steps. Scoot the left knee back just a little bit, finding a stretch in the front of that left hip and thigh, but also possibly in the back of the right leg. Right hand to right leg as you gently twist to the right. Hips are dropping down toward the floor. Take 3 cycles of breath. All right, after your third breath, again, release to hands and knees. This time from hands and knees, we'll tuck our toes under and lift up into downward dog. So as you tuck your toes, lift your knees, take your hips up. And then just start to lift and lower the heels a few times. Checking in with the feet, the ankles, the backs of the legs. Sensing all the way up into the torso, shoulders, the arms. Really spread the weight across all of your fingers and take another breath in and out. All right, walk your hands and feet toward each other so you end up in your forward fold. Shift the weight back to the feet. Walk the hands gently up the fronts of the legs as you rise to stand. As we come to stand, we'll shrug the shoulders up. Take them back and down, again shrugging up and back and down, and then once more up and back and down. All right, step your feet hip distance apart if they're not already. As you inhale, push the hips back, bend your knees a little bit, float your arms up. Take a little more of the weight into your heels than you have in the balls of your feet. And then as you next exhale, press through your heels, rise to stand, and reach the arms back in space. So you're opening up across your chest. Again, inhale, hips back, arms up, little bend in the knees. Exhale to stand, reach the arms back. All right, one more, breathing in. And breathing out. All right, now turn and step wide on your mat. Toes are turning out, heels are turning in just a little bit. And then we'll start to squat down. So bend your knees so that your thighs are going the same direction as your feet. So for many of us, when you look down, You might notice that your knees are kind of tipping in. Try to get the thighs going the same direction as the feet to kind of make it a little safer for your knees. And the other way to do that is to really engage your hip muscles. So by engaging your hip muscles, you start to actively pull the thighs back in space. All right, so maintaining that, take the arms up and do the same thing. So elbows are bent, and then press your elbows back in space. So you're opening up across the chest, engaging those muscles between the shoulder blades. Engage your hips to keep pulling the knees back in space. And then breathe. Relax any gripping of the toes. Balance out the weight between the heels and the balls of your feet. See if you can still find a lift in the arches of your feet. Take one more round of breath. All right, press through your feet, straighten your legs, release your arms. All right, now we're going to turn the right toes all the way out to the right side, towards the short edge of the mat, and then turn your left toes just slightly in. Take your arms over your legs, and then as we inhale, reach the arms up. As we exhale, bend the right knee, take the arms back out over the legs. Again, inhale, straighten the right leg, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the right knee, arms over the legs. One more like that, breathing in and breathing out. Now keep the right knee bent. Now as you inhale, lean back towards your left leg. So left hand down, right hand up. Right knee is still bent. Then exhale, right forearm to thigh, left arm toward your head. Again, inhale up and back, right knee stays bent. Exhale, right forearm to thigh, left arm to head. All right, one more like that. Inhale up and back. And exhale, shift forward. Now pause here with your right knee bent, lengthening the left side of the body. So connect with that left foot and the left hand and all of the space in between. Feeling those 2 points gliding away from each other. One more deep breath. All right, inhale, lift up, straighten your right leg. Exhale, release your left arm. All right, so we'll switch sides. So turn the left toes out. Turn the right toes slightly in. Arms out over the legs. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend the left knee. Take the arms out over the legs. Again, inhale, reach up, straighten the left leg. Exhale, bend, reach the arms out. All right, one more, breathing in. And breathing out. All right, now let that left knee stay bent. Inhale, lean back toward your right leg. Left arm goes up. Exhale, left forearm to thigh, right arm up alongside the head. 2 more times. Inhale up and back. Keep the left knee bent. Exhale, shifting forward. All right, last one. Inhale. And exhale. Pause here. Connect with the right side of the body, that right foot, the right hand, and all of the space in between. All right, as you inhale, lift up. Straighten the left leg. Exhale, release the right arm. All right, step near the back of the mat. With your inhale, find your chair pose one more time, hips back, arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs, walk your hands out to downward dog. All right, with your inhale, rock forward, finding plank pose. And then either stay here with the knees up or drop to your knees. And then together we'll exhale and bend the elbows, hips, chest, down to the floor. All right, we'll walk the arms forward so that the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Gently pressing down into your forearms, lift your heart. Reach it forward as you reach back through your toes. Organize your head and neck so that your neck is comfortable. Relax the muscles of your face and your jaw. All right, one more round of breath here. All right, as you lower your heart down to the floor, slide the left arm out to the side so it's directly out from your shoulder. Turn your head over to the right and rest your head on the floor. And then use your right hand to push into the floor so you turn your chest and possibly also your hips away from the floor. And you might stack your legs if that's comfortable. You might need to keep that right knee down for a little support if better, or step the right foot back. Any of these options for the legs are really just supporting the stretch you're creating in that left shoulder, arm, and chest. And see how much you can just let yourself melt into this shape. We'll take 5 cycles of breath. And so after your 5th breath, slowly roll back onto your front. Take that left arm down alongside the torso to pause and rest. All right, now before we do the second side, lift your head and chest, lift your right leg, and then sweep that left arm that we were just working on out to the side. Let your arm rotate as you take your arm forward and point the left thumb up toward the ceiling. So you have your left arm and right leg lifted up. Head and chest are lifted. One more cycle of breath. All right, take that left arm back out to the side. And as you release it down alongside the torso, let your right leg come down as well, along with your chest and head. All right, second side, take the right arm directly out to the side, so straight out from the shoulder. Turn your head over to the left, rest your head on the floor, and then press your left hand down into the floor as you turn your chest and also hips potentially away from the floor. So finding that stretch in the front of your right shoulder, chest, and arm. And as with the first side, you might stack your legs if that's comfortable. You might need to keep that top knee down for support or step the left foot back if you don't need the extra support. But wherever you place your legs, notice what you feel in your right shoulder. What is present today? Right after your next round of breath, slowly roll back onto your front. Take that right arm down alongside the torso to pause and rest. All right, now as you lift your head and chest, lift your left leg, and then as you pick that right arm up, begin to swing it out to the side and forward. Let the right thumb point up so you've fully rotated this arm. A couple rounds of breath. Right arm and left leg are lifted. All right, one more cycle of breath. All right, take the right arm back out to the side. And then as it comes down to rest alongside the torso, also let your left leg come down to rest. All right, press back up onto hands and knees. Once again, sitting back towards your feet into child's pose. Again, as you sit back towards your feet, you might rest your head on your hands on the floor. Maybe you have a block that you can rest your head on, depending on what's helpful for you. As you breathe in, sense the entire back expanding with that inhalation. And as you breathe out, let yourself rest into support. All right, after your next breath, bring yourself back into a seated position. And we'll conclude with a breathing practice called alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana. So coming into your comfy seat. And then you'll use your right hand. Take your second and third fingers, your peace fingers, in toward your palm so that you have your thumb and your ring finger to block your nostrils. Take that right thumb to the right nostril. Inhale through the left side. Close it off. Open the right and exhale. Inhale, right side. Close it off. Open the left. Exhale. Inhale, left. Switch. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Switch. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Exhale, left. And then as you release your hand, just allow your breath to flow in and out of the body without restriction to where it enters or exits, without restriction to its pace or volume. As you check back in with your insides, noticing sensation, noticing perhaps temperature difference in parts of the body, noticing perhaps sensation differences, parts of the body that you're now aware of that you might not have been aware of 30 minutes ago. As well as noticing what thoughts and emotions are present for you in this moment. And so, on the outside, this practice looks like it's about the body, but it's also about cultivating a quality of your attention to your insides. So, what do you notice in this moment? Right, join the palms in front of the heart. As we bow to the light within ourselves, we also bow to the light within each other. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May we know peace. Thank you for joining me today. See you again next time. Bye bye.